guys, we're kind of throwing that out there that maybe nearing the end of the summer or even early fall, kind of like we did last year. I think we went to Jamaica, Sandy, in like November, like early November.
Right.
Yep. So maybe sometime in that same ballpark where it starts to get a little chilly here in the States, we want to extend summer by a week. And the cool thing about our world tours, guys, if we got points, we can drive these prices down to virtually nothing. But on top of that, again, if we're talking about this now and we're at the beginning of June, then come July and August, when those booking windows start closing for those fall tropical vacations, maybe we can all come to an agreement. We're like, oh, I like this trip. I want to go. I have points. I can turn a 5-star all-inclusive in Cancun down to like a $200 vacation, right? So just kind of throwing that out there. Keep that in the back of your mind, y'all. And whenever you're jumping in your back office and playing around in there, look at some tropical world tours in that window of time between like October or late September, October, and into early November. Because number one, we get great deals. Number two, if you have points to trade in, then guys, you're going to get even better than great deals. So again, we're a travel company. We're a travel club. We're a travel family. I love the idea of maybe trading in points once a year, and we do something like that together, right? So guys, just again, keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe early to late fall, looking at a world tour, someplace that's an affordable flight for all of us here in the States. So probably somewhere Caribbean or Mexico, right? Definitely 5-star, definitely all-inclusive. Those are criteria we're looking for, right? So again, anyone, and in the group chat, always throw in ideas. If you see one, take a screenshot, throw it in there. See how many hearts and thumbs up it gets, right? Because that's kind of how we did the Jamaica one last year. But I love that idea, Sandy. Thank you for bringing it up. And so now, so guys, just keep that in the back of your mind. Early to late fall, looking for a 5-star all-inclusive world tour where we can all burn some points together, because I got to trade some points. So I'm sure I'm not the only one out there, right? And then so I just wanted to quickly just share a couple points that were made during last Saturday's training. It was a really good training with our most recent, our newest ambassador out of Canada. And this is what was really cool about that training, guys. I don't know if you caught it, but when Todd shared, this woman, I think her name was Claudette. I could be butchering the name, and I apologize. I should have put her name in my notes. But guys, she was a 2-star director this time last year. And now she was being celebrated this Saturday as an ambassador out of Canada. And I know a lot of our Canadian friends say it's a challenge building in Canada because, the Canadian dollar isn't that strong and flights are expensive out of Canada to anywhere in the world. Yet we just celebrated a brand new ambassador out of Canada on Saturday. So the old saying is, what you focus on grows. Guys, clearly she was not focused on how expensive flights are to get out of Canada. She focused on winning, and now she's got her prize, right? So I just wanted to share that, but never give up on people. Contact new people each day. Now, I thought that was powerful. Guys, that's what all the ambassadors are saying, right? Contact new people every single day. How many of us, including myself, get caught in the land of basically, caught in limbo, right? Because we're only talking to the same 5 people every week. And the same 5 people are either giving us no's or maybes. Yet we keep circling back to the same no's and maybes every single week. Guys, eventually we got to branch out and talk to other people, right? Because no's and maybes do not get us paid. No's and maybes do not help us hit our next goal or our next rank. Now, no's and maybes are fine because that means we're having conversations. I'd rather get no's and maybes than no conversation going at all. But again, we have to have that posture where we can't keep going back to the no's and the maybes and saying we're running a business, right? The no's and the maybes, they go on your list as a no or a maybe, and then we have 5 new people we got to talk to, right? So talk to new people every day. This is what Todd shared. Leader of one, leader of many. If you won't lead one, then you won't lead any. Oh, and then welcome, she's on the account. Oh, Katerina, thank you. Yes, Veronica, that's an appreciation, girl. I knew it was something like that. Katerina. Katerina is the ambassador's name. I was close. Thank you. This was another thing that was said on the Saturday training. Your breakthrough, and Nikki Bell and I were talking about this on Sunday, actually, when we were talking. Your breakthrough is on the way. I just hope you're here when it arrives. I think Todd said that. Or maybe Daryl said that. Your breakthrough is on the way. I just hope you're here when it arrives. Kind of goes back to that saying of this business is perfect for people that just don't quit, right? Money doesn't solve all your problems, but it lets you figure the rest out in style. That was Todd. That's a great one, guys. That's great. Money doesn't solve all problems, but it lets you figure out the rest in style. More action, more confidence, more action, more confidence. Basically, guys, we talk about it a lot in our trainings. The only way to get confidence is to do the thing. Avoiding the thing does not grow our confidence. Hiding from the thing does not grow our confidence. The only way we can grow our confidence is by doing the thing. The confidence never comes before. You got to have courage first, and then you do the thing, and then the confidence comes after. So, again, do the thing, get the confidence. You got the confidence, you want to do more. You do more, you get more confidence. It's a continuous cycle, guys. Action, confidence, action, confidence, action, confidence. And then before you know it, again, you're an ambassador, right? Don't focus on the 5 no's. Focus on the next 5 you haven't spoken to yet. Again, that's another quote right from Saturday's training. That was Katarina, right? Don't focus on the 5 no's. Focus on the 5 people you haven't spoken to yet. In sports, we call this having a short memory, right? If you play a sport like basketball, if you're a shooter, you miss your first 4 shots. Your 5th shot, you're not thinking about the last 4 shots you missed. You're only thinking about the shot you're taking now. That's what makes you a good shooter. So, guys, in this business, when we get no's, guys, we don't focus on those no's anymore. We're focusing on who are the next 5 people I need to talk to, right? So just having that mindset. And then the last 2 things I'll share before I'd love to open this up so everyone else can share what they got out of Saturday. People buy certainty. So get your people on the phone with ambassadors so they can hear it a certain way. That was powerful. That actually might have been a note from David Hart on our corporate update call that somehow got in my Saturday notes, but that's still powerful. Guys, people buy certainty, and they do. People buy certainty. So get your people on with an ambassador so they can hear it a certain way, right? When you get somebody on the phone with an ambassador and you hear someone say, oh, but I got to get free for this to be free. Now, if someone's ever gotten free and free before, like, yeah, it's a big mountain to climb. Oh my goodness, that free and free is almost impossible. I don't want to hear that if I'm thinking about this. I want to hear an ambassador be like, dude, you can get free and free in your first 3 days. As a matter of fact, we have people getting, well, how many free and frees did we have last month? Almost 400 platinum directors. Again, if we were plugging in to the corporate update call, those are the types of people you want your prospects talking to. Not, yeah, it's free and free, and man, it could take years, it could take decades, it's a tough mountain to climb. Or an ambassador mindset person, oh yeah, free and free, you can get that in 3 days. Matter of fact, last year we celebrated over 400 new platinum directors getting free and free. So yeah, you can do it too. You see how that's a different dialogue, a different conversation altogether, right? And then the last thing I have, oh, this is great. This is one of Todd's last things he shared as far as inviting, which if we have time, I want to talk about inviting. What are you doing tonight at 9 o'clock? Is it better than traveling the world and making 6 figures a year? It's not too serious, but it's direct enough, right? Hey, what are you doing at 8 o'clock East Coast time tonight? Is it better than traveling the world and making 6+ figures a year? Most people are going to say, no, what I'm doing at 8 o'clock tonight is not better than that. Well then, hey, if I would you. Well then, hey, if I sent you my Zoom link, would you hop on and listen in to how we're doing that? It's that easy, guys. We don't need to make it any more complicated than that. So I'd like to ask, ladies, did anyone that, plugged into Saturday's call or caught the replay, did anyone, catch anything or take any notes on something where you're like, that's good, it needs to be shared? Those were my notes. I want to see who else had some notes. Nick Adele? Yeah, please.
I think the longer, I'm staying in this business, the more I realize, the only way you can succeed is if you have like-minded people, that are driven for financial freedom, as opposed to just traveling, if you're having to drag your teammates, that's what I'm seeing with a lot of these ambassadors and stuff, and Dr. Phyllis and, Alex and all those things is The only way for you to rank up is to have like-minded people.
And I wrote it down. The only way to succeed is to find like-minded people, the people that want freedom as bad as you and are willing to work for it. Guys, that's a training by itself, okay? And I missed that from Saturday, but because Nick Adele caught it and she shared it on our team call, now I have it. And that's why, I really love when we can share big takeaways from the week and from trainings, because sometimes we miss them. Even when we're on, sometimes we miss them, right? So thank you for that, Nick Adele. And that actually reminds me of something that Jessica had said to me a while back. And I still, to this day, and I probably will forever, have this now in the back of my mind. We're looking for our warriors. We want to find our warriors. A warrior is someone that has a goal and is going to be relentless in achieving. You want to find like-minded people, right? So that it's a pleasure to work with. But then, two, you want to know that they got some grit, that they got some desire in their heart, and they're willing to do the work that it takes. Because what's the old saying? Everything we want is hidden in the work that we avoid. And guys, some days I don't want to have conversations with 5 people. Guys, but I'm telling you guys, when you look at the alternative of making money in the world, guys, what we do is easy. What we do is easy. Because all we do is have conversations, and when we find somebody that we think might be right, we invite them to take a look at information. We've been doing this since we were children. But then as we become adults and we can make money doing it, then we get weird about it, right? And guys, I know we do it because I do it. Sometimes I get weird about it, where I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I just want to make some money, You know what I mean? But again, that's ego. That is our own ego trying to talk us out of something that we know if we do it right, do it well, do it long enough, we can have greatness, right? So thank you, Nick Adele, for sharing that. Did anyone else have any notes or takeaways from either this week or Saturday's training that it really spoke to you? You're like, I got to share it. Okay. That's cool. All right. So then what I'd like to do for the last few minutes of our team training call, well, number one, okay, so now kind of recaps on trainings out of the way. Did anyone have any wins or anything that they'd like to share that just felt good this last week? I know I saw our homegirl Hope catching flights. I don't know if you had a fun testimony from Texas that you want to share. Don't feel obligated. But also this is a great time to share if we went on trips recently and stuff like that. But if no one would like to share, then what I'd like to do for the last few minutes is I just want to get out the whiteboard. I was driving through oh my gosh, yes. So our homegirl Jessica, she's with her fiance right now. And I don't know exactly where they are, but wherever you guys stayed at over the weekend, where did you stay over the weekend, Jessica, if you are able to type that in? Because my God, I don't know if you guys, there she is. Jessica, can you where were you guys? Because that looked like heaven on earth.
Yeah, thank you. We were at Glacier National Park in Montana, and we were staying at this lodge. A lot of these national parks, they built lodges in the early 1900s. And so this one was built in 1910 or whatever. So we were staying at the Many Glacier Lodge. So the view that I posted, and I mean, it would have been awesome if, I could find something on Trevorium. It just wasn't on there, so that's all I did. But the view, it felt so unreal.
Thank you, Jessica. And guys, definitely peep. And thank you for getting the whiteboard up for me, girl. Great, you. That was great. That's awesome efficiency. And guys, if you haven't seen it yet, go on Jessica's social media. I think it's still up on her stories. Guys, check it out. It was heaven on earth. I must have went through it 4 times. I was like, that's beautiful. So that was really, really cool. And I'm happy that you and James got to experience that together. And so, guys, what I'd like to do now for the last few minutes that we have, I want to talk about the importance of edification. And I want to talk about how we can do it in a natural way, where then we can have really great success when connecting people with people, right? So a couple weeks ago, right, we talked about the philosophy of sharing, right? Here's you. And again, I appreciate Hope very much for pulling that up too, because that helped save us a couple minutes. Here's you. Here's your person. Let's call them peeps. Okay. Now, whether this is a cold market person, a warm market person, doesn't matter, guys. This is the person that is interested in learning more, and they're interested because of you. So then you have your third person, and this person is, for lack of a better term, we're going to call them your expert. Okay? Now, again, your expert can be anybody. It can literally be anybody. It could be me. It could be Jessica. It could be Nick Adele. It could be Sandra. It can be Veronica. It can be anyone. It could be Hope. Hope just got back from a trip, right? Your expert is somebody that has a story to tell to help corroborate your story, right? You know what I mean? Like, not to use like, like, again, like every once in a while, if you have a testimony, right? They do it in the Bible. They do it in the court of law. You have a testimony. Well, then they're going to look for an eyewitness to corroborate your story, okay? They do it in everything, including network marketing. So typically there is a connection between you and the person. Now, it might be a friendship connection. It might be friendship, right? It might be, friend. It could be friend or family, right? They could be someone on your social media that just saw a post and they liked your post. So it could be based on interest, right? Maybe they like making money. Maybe they like traveling. One thing that I know is, Nick Adele does a great job on Instagram of piquing interest with people and setting appointments. So many times Nick Adele will bring people to the table, and her connection might not be a lifelong friendship or a family member. It might be something as simple as somebody saw a post that Nick Adele posted and they had questions, right? But now there's a connection made. So once the connection is made, within context, you want to connect your person with your expert or your teammate, okay? Now, what type of leverage does this person have to want to speak to your expert, right? Well, you got to create some need there. Maybe it's, you got to hear my friend's story. Maybe it's, that's a great question. My friend Adam, let's say they have a question on travel points after you send a 10-minute video. That was really, really cool, but how do these travel points work that we get every month? That's a great question. You know what? My buddy Adam trades in these travel points all the time for a bunch of dope vacations every year. Let me throw him into the group chat because I know he knows how to answer that, right? Guys, you see how natural that was? It wasn't salesy. It wasn't over the top. It was very casual, very conversational. But then at that point, you've edified your expert, right? Again, you said, look, that's a great question. And then you edified Nick Adele. That's a great question. I know Nick Adele used the travel site to go to Cancun and save a bunch of money last year for a dance competition. Let me see if I can add her into the group chat so she can share that story, right? So you edify your person a little bit within the context of your existing conversation, and then you add them in. Or you say, let me see if I can get them on the phone with us, or let me see if I can schedule a time for a Zoom. But our whole goal from getting somebody to say, hey, what's that? Or hey, that looks cool. Our whole goal is to get them to another tool. There's an old saying in direct sales, don't be a tool, use the tools. Yeah, right. I don't know who finished my sentence there, but yes. And so what are tools? Videos are tools. Teammates are tools, right? When they have a testimony or a story to tell. Evening overviews, which we have on almost every single night now. Those are tools. The Dream Life page on Facebook, that's a tool, right? So we just want to make sure, again, that as people have questions or they have a little bit of interest based on a good dialogue, the moment they ask some questions or the moment they want to discover more, guys, we want to use tools. And this is for two reasons, right? And then, of course, the connection here is, well, why should I trust your expert? Why should I talk to your expert? Well, because you trust me and you're talking to me, right? And I trust them. So, guys, this is kind of like the little, for lack of a better word, this is like the triangle of the philosophy here is they're interested. The person you're speaking to is interested in what you're talking about. Might be travel, might be saving money, might be making money, might be community, right? I don't know what that conversation is. You're going to have to figure it out as you're conversing. But 9 times out of 10, right, because of the space we're in, it's either making money or saving money on travel, right? So as they're conversing with you, clearly they're interested. Otherwise, they wouldn't be conversing with you. At that point, now, again, when they have questions or they're open to learning more, that's when, again, Nikki Dell does a great job. She gets herself out of the way and she schedules a Zoom, or she invites people to an existing overview, right? Using the system, becoming system dependent so that she can continue to live her life, right? Now, there are times where we get in a group chat or we get in a private Zoom call. And what she does is, again, she edifies her expert, whether it's me, whether it's Todd, whether it's Tatiana, right? It doesn't matter. But edifies her expert in a real and natural way. And many times, if you can edify your expert within the conversation, again, a great way is if I'm talking to somebody and they say, and I ask, what did you like best? I really liked those prices. How do these travel points work again, though? Right? That's when I'm going to edify maybe Todd. I'm like, my buddy Todd and Gina, they trade in travel points all the time for free vacations. Let me see if I can throw him in the group chat. Or let me see if he has a quick minute. I'd love for you to hear his story. Guys, at that point, once you have gotten your person in front of your expert within context and you edify your expert, guys, you've done all the work you need to do. That's all you need to do. This is the name of the game, guys. Make a connection through a meaningful conversation. Once you have someone's interest piqued, use a tool to help explain or divulge information. Maybe it's an existing overview. Maybe it's the 9-minute video that Todd does, right? Maybe it's adding him into the Facebook group and tagging him in a couple things. But as soon as they have questions, that's your opportunity to take it off of you and then put it on a teammate, put it on an ambassador, put it on somebody that's working the business hard, right? And let them get to work for you. Now, because we want to respect teams, typically you want to go upline. You want to go to somebody that has a financially vested interest in helping you build your business, right? As opposed to crossline where someone might be, I love you and I want to help you, but I still got a team to work with, right? So we want to respect that. So I just wanted to share this little triangle, guys. It's simple, but it's real, right? So again, however you engage with people, however you pique interest with people, maybe you do posts, maybe you do stories, maybe you reach out to 5 people a day and message and converse with them, hoping to turn it into a conversation about travel or making money. However you find your way to connect with other people, keep doing it, right? I'm not trying to teach you how to do that. Do whatever feels good to you about how you like to get out there, put yourself out there and connect with people. But when the right people raise their hand and say, hey, I'm curious, hey, I'm interested, hey, you're talking my language, for some reason, that's when we get really weird about it, right? That is when we want to keep it even simpler. And then again, use a tool to expose them to more information. And then when, what did you like best is the most powerful question you can ask somebody, because they're going to say, I like the travel. I like the making money. I like this. I like that. And then at that point, you're going to say, oh, you like that? Well, you got to hear my boy Adam's story, because he makes, $2-3 grand a month doing this. You've got to hear my homegirl Sandra's story. She took her mom to Paris, took her on a dream vacation to Paris for $200. Guys, I still use Sandy's story about taking her mom to Paris. That was 2 years ago. I still use that story today. Yeah, right. So guys, I'm just letting you guys know that. And then at that point, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to edify Sandy and be like, but you got to hear her story. And I'm going to add Sandy into the group chat, or I'm going to call Sandy, or I'm going to see, hey, when are you available for 10 minutes? I want you to meet somebody. And then you schedule that appointment, right? So guys, this is a very simple process. And so tonight, let me stop my screen share. Because tonight, guys, we have our live overview. Now, typically, what I've noticed is Todd has started doing a bunch of overviews on his private Zoom on his computer throughout the week. And I think he does an 8 o'clock one tonight on Mondays when we have ours. And so, one thing that I will say is I'm going to keep doing ours. If we get to a point where, I'm just saying, I'm not saying this to any one person, I'm just kind of throwing this out there. If we get to a point where no one's showing up and that becomes the habit, then I might just let Todd absorb our 8 p.m. Monday night call where we all just plug into Todd's call. But I don't want to do that just yet. And not to take anything away from Todd. Todd is the best presenter I've ever seen. But because I want us to build something, guys. I want us to create some mojo. I want it to be something fun where we all play a part in it. Sometimes on those bigger calls, we can feel like sand on a beach. I see a bunch of people, but I don't see anybody, right? I see a bunch of screens, but I don't see anybody, right? But when we have the more intimate where it's our team and our group, we see each other, we're smiling, we're laughing. That's kind of like the genesis or the nucleus of being able to turn a Monday night call into 80 or 100 or 200 people showing up each month.
I don't think you should stop doing the call that.
All right, then that's all I needed to hear. Thank you, Nigadel. Then that's all I needed to hear. I'm going to keep rocking them. And so, guys, that's tonight. This same Zoom link, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. East. Guys, we'll be in and out within 30, 40 minutes at the most. But let's show up. And let's show up for ourselves, number one. For real, show up for you first, right? And then show up for each other, right? But, like, on Monday nights, like, I love it when we're all on there and we're having a good time, and I love being received well. And, you know, Veronica gave me such a great compliment the other week. Thank you for that, right? That does fill my cup. But I want you all to know I show up for me. We got to show up for ourselves first before we can show up for anybody else, right? The old saying of when you're on a plane, if the oxygen mask comes on, you got to put on your mask first before you assist somebody else, right? Doesn't make you a bad person for putting your mask on first. It means that you're doing the right thing. Put on your mask, then help the person beside you. Guys, when it comes to like plugging in, showing up, I hope, and it means a lot. Like if someone says, I just want to show up so I'm seen, so no one feels bad. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. But guys, what's even more beautiful and more meaningful is I'm showing up for me because there's something here that I want and I want to get really good at it. And I'm going to keep showing up until I get it all that I came here for. And guess what? Once you do, now you got to show up because now you have a responsibility to other people, right? But in the process, you show up for you first. And that way, because I'll end the call on this. There's an old saying. Sometimes you need the call and sometimes the call needs you. If your business is going great and everyone's saying yes and people in your organization are ranking up left and right, you might not need the call, but the call definitely needs you. And then you might be down. But everyone tells me, no, I can't even get one person on a three-way call. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, no matter what I do, no one wants to show up. No one wants to hear what I have to say. Well, then guess what? You need the call. The call may not need you that day, but don't get it twisted. You need the call that day. You need to see a good presentation. You need to get inspired. You need to get around other hungry people that are excited, right? So that being said, show up for yourself first, then show up for each other. And before you know it, again, we're showing up because we have hundreds of people hopping on calls. And God willing, ideally, we're all overriding a lot of that volume together, right? So tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. East Coast time, this same Zoom link. Guests or not, guys, like Harlan teaches his team, invite because you want people to show up. But even if they don't show up, you show up. Because that's the easiest part of our business, is saying, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be on a 30-minute Zoom while someone else does a presentation, right? That's the easiest part of the business. But I will also say this. Let's plant some seeds so that we can have some fruit. Let's invite. If I would you, right? Hey, if I sent you a link, and the last thing I'll say, Todd had a great invite, right? From Saturday's training. Hey, what are you doing tonight at 8 o'clock? Is it better than learning how to save money on travel and make 6 figures a year doing it? No? Well, then if I sent you my link, would you hop on and just listen in? Guys, ask 10 people today and worst case scenario, all 10 say no and we still show up, right? Best case scenario, 5 or 6 out of 10 say, okay, yeah, I'll show up. And then we see what happens, right? So guys, let's end the call now. I'll see you all this evening. Love and appreciate you guys.